Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, I'm still working on issue 13. Right now I'm just getting in touch with another writer. Just trying to see if I get any results from it. It's kind of cool. I got 243 pages done already. I'm doing a story alternate with an Edgar Allan Poe story. Instead of the one I've chosen, I'm going to include the Black Cat instead. The reason being I chose the Black Cat is because I was going to publish that story in 1997. As I have my coffee here, I'm going to make some things clear with the magazine. Those who are going around saying the magazine's not horror and science fiction never really read the magazine. A sample copy of the magazine is issue 11. That one is available to download for $4.99. And the difference between this one and the other issues is that the writers from the issue appeared in the magazine previously. A few of them are in issues. I can name the issues when I figure the names out. But Tom Hamilton is a writer that followed my footsteps in joining Brother Sin. Tom Hamilton actually called me his favorite editor. That's kind of cool. So what I say right here is, cheers to you, man. Have a coffee with me. So the other writers from issue 12, I want to thank Ray Fair and anything else for joining the fray. And with the anthology I'm working on, one of the authors who bowed out is Joe S. Lansdale. But I got some hell of feedback from Lansdale with one story. He said he really liked it a lot. Oh man, that's cool. And that's what a nonfiction story I wrote called 15 Minutes Before the 11th Hour. That story is a revisiting of the story I wrote in 2004 called Accident Revisited. I just went in more detail about it. Some of my classmates might recognize the date when the car hit me, because it's on the 5 days before the death anniversary of another classmate. I'm not going to say his name, but when you see the video, they'll know who he is. So as I drink my coffee, it's like 3 in the morning. Kind of like I used to do when I was 18, 19 years old, when I would go to the diner with Ryan Kajecki. I used to write in my paper journal back then, and I'm doing a story on the paper journal right now. That one right now is about 8 pages handwritten on a college rule composition book I bought. I had that composition book since 2007. I haven't really used it. Well, until now. I usually write fast on in pencil, and it's just as legible. I have the submission guidelines for the creative nonfiction in the magazine as a handwritten thing, photographed. That will be going up on Psyche of Bipolar, my insane blog journal. So you want that one? It's nicholas.insanejournal.com, and I'll be doing some more updates on there eventually. I just update it right now because I'm trying to beat the misconception that one person's going around saying I'm a child predator, which is not true. And those are people who have the sick fascination with chocolate milk, you can go drown in it for that matter. I'd rather have my coffee and soda. Coffee is the drink of writers. But I can picture Edgar Allan Poe if you're sober and drink coffee instead of drinking abstinent and eating opium. If he's drinking a lot of coffee, what kind of stuff would you imagine coming up with? He'd be writing a story like what I wrote in The Dirty Black Winter called Revisiting Loss of Blood. That story is actually about my stabbing in 1999 and the aftermath. Actually, the second day, when I was trying to talk to a youth pastor at the Christian Fellowship. That youth pastor refused to help me. He was saying, "Are you going to a church?" I go, "What is that supposed to mean?" He was saying the reason I got stabbed was I wasn't involved in a church, which is not true. So with that, I had a hell of a time trying to patch things over with them. So I'm inviting the pastor, who's also an author, to join me on tour. Actually, I'm doing another signing somewhere. I want him to come to Chicago with me to do one of the signings. That's if he's cool with it. The story Revisiting Loss of Blood is my de facto darkest crime non-fiction story ever written. It also came about from the testimony of Dan Willow related in issue 10. Willow shocked me when he did that. I knew Willow for nearly 20 years, 20 plus years, and I had no idea he got caught up in that world. A world that's not too easy to escape from when they get into it. And he goes into detail about this. What he told me in the testimony really blindsided me. I'm saying, I don't think anyone got that dark other than me when I wrote Apartment 2W, which I reprinted in the magazine because I couldn't read the PDF version on Wizard of Sin's website. The font they used is kind of hard to read when it's a PDF that's about that size. So I made it a little easier to read. The new version of issue 10, I republished it as N.A. Patton. I also did a little punishment to Mark Lynch saying, "From here on out, you're a fucking horror target in the other issues." Meaning he'd be fodder for any writer who wants to write a story about him. So Lynch, a little lesson to you. Don't pick a fight with an editor who already paid you. And don't do a malicious review of a book that the editor wrote when that version's out of print. As for the one known as Chris J, who used to be running Lane Go Press, I really don't hate you, man. You're just brainwashed with Sammy Cox. So if you got my email, there's an invitation for you to join the anthology I'm working on. I'm not going to say the title here. I also patched things up with Stephen M. Marshall. Marshall's interested, but the thing is, I probably have to go through lightning source to publish that new anthology, that one anthology when it's finished. My goal is to get enough stories to fill 260 pages. And when I get those 260 pages in the artist, I'll send it to print. I'm going to do almost what I did with Queens of Storms. So with some of the stories, I'm looking to visit the Queens of Storms idea of the true stories with that anthology. So if there's anyone who's faced hell in form of a natural disaster, feel free to join me on this anthology. I'm taking 2,500 words of the 10,000 words, with the ideal of 3,500 to 6,600, even 8,800. I'm trying to get as many writers as possible, but try to get as many to fill a 260-page body. And I'm looking to talk with other publishers to get other books that are based on this book together, make it like a box set. I want to do a box set of all these books and give it to Damon Darrell as a congratulations for him being the vice president of Arkham House now. Damon, man, I have to say you did it. I told you it was up to you now, and you basically took the plate. I wish you the best of luck for many years to come, man. You're a good man, and your mother was a very good woman. She helped my ex-roommate out when she was at a time of need. Some of those people who lie about April, shut up. I don't want to hear it. April encouraged me at a time when I was starting to write science fiction. She sent me a book called Other Worlds Than Ours by Nelson Bond. I was doing some work at Gothic Fest for my book signing, and I offered to do some giveaways for Arkham House. I in fact invited April to join me at this signing, but she told me she doesn't do boots that well. Well, I understand. She's a private person. With her passing last month, 2 months ago, it sort of got to me. Meaning, I never had a chance to meet her. I would love to have her meet my mother. Between the two of them, they get along real good. April been the older sister my mother didn't have. So in that, I consider April like a surrogate member of our family. So if anyone has a problem talking about Darrell's around me, don't do it. So with the issue I'm doing, is going to be dedicated to April, and we give it to Damon, wishing him good luck. So Damon, you're getting a few things from us. Wishing you luck in your new career. Being a publisher is not an easy thing, man. I know this firsthand because I've been doing the publishing gig for 7 years. Bob Gunner taught me how to be a publisher. Mick Mercer taught me how to do a magazine. Yeah, some of you wonder who Mick Mercer is. Look up some of his books on Amazon. He's pretty well known in the Gothic community and pretty much a celebrity in that sense of the word. Mick taught me a lot about running a magazine. And I took those lessons to heart when I took the magazine to another level. Publishing Ray Nelson was one thing. Getting to publish an author that was actually part of my e-zine is a real head trick. That author I'm talking about is Barry Eastman. Eastman's got some real talent. He's got some serious chops on him. But one thing that Sammy Cuss will never be is a Barbara Menendez. Barbara has heart. Has heart. Cox, she's just in it for one thing. To kick some other publishers around. To steal titles from them. And do other things like that. I'm not going to mention the names of the writers that she works with. But these writers also work with me at some point. Her first issue of House of Horror, the book anthology, I recognize some of the names from it. Some of them worked with me in the first issue of my magazine. So Cox, don't badmouth me around them. Because they worked with me for years. Some of them worked with Bob Gunner. And I'm looking to work with them again eventually. So, I'm in touch with them now. I'm also in touch with some of my issue 2 guys. You know, I tell you, there's 2 guys. Wow, what can I say? I've been blessed with a bunch of writers over the years. I don't take that for granted. Some of the writers I've been friends with for some time. One thing I like to do is work with James M. Barlow on an anthology. It's because he's got the chops. And he encouraged me back when I was 20 years old. He read the first story I did called Blood Covenant. My first serious horror story. He almost got me published with Back Books. But back in 1998, I didn't have enough material to work with. So for him, I'm going to send him a copy of the Library of Unknown Horrors. Because I want James to see what I've done over those years. I want him to see what I became. A much more mature and a little more unpredictable. Cox says I treat writers like shit. Well, that's a misconception because I treat them like family. Is it because I'm looking to work with some of my cousins? I want to publish a few of my family members. If that's cool with them. I'm talking to one of the cousins right now. Asking permission to publish Sydney. I'm kind of curious what my little cousin can do as a writer. As my kid sister can do. Since my sister is wanting to write horror, she's been wanting to write it because of reading Tales of Tales 2 to 4. She found her older brother's story, The Typewriter. That one is included in Dirty Black Winter. Because the rights have reverted to me. It's been a few years since it was published. I've been wanting to work with Dave Summers again on an anthology. Maybe this one. So Dave, drop me an email if you're interested. I'm also wanting to have you write on issue 13. See if you can do a horror story for the issue. Because this time around when I'm working with a pub mate, and she brought her ours with me. I'm thrilled about that, and I'm like, damn, that's cool. Andrew Bolton did the logo for Youthville Gazette for this issue. He designed it for me back in 2010, back around Christmas time. I was like, wow, that was cool. I don't know which issue I was going to use it for, though. That's the thing. It's because I was designing my own logos for the longest time. And every issue, the font's different. And the creative nonfiction, from this issue on forward, I'm going to be using like a handwritten font. One for the male writers, one for the female writers. It's because I want them to have the story written as they would tell it in the diner, as they were drinking coffee with me or with their friends. I want issue 13 to be talked about like issue 12 is, and issue 11. The double-numbered issues impressed me over the years. It's been a year since I did the double-numbered issues. I'm waiting to take it up to like 100 issues. That's gonna be hard. That's a tall order to do. And with this box set anthology I'm planning, I'm looking to do 7 books in 1 year as an editor. But I have several publishers help me to get the stories for it. It's because the anthologies are going to go into charity. I'm looking to donate some of the proceeds to April Darrow's Memorial Fund and the proceeds of others to Edgar Allan Poe House to help save it. Because the Edgar Allan Poe House is in threat of being closed down. And if that's closed down, it would be a major tragedy to the writing community. Some of you tell me I besmirched the writing community. Well, that's not true. The one who besmirched it is David Boyer. And Cox. Cox is making a mockery out of it by taking the titles from other publishers and use it for hers. I'm not going to let her do this. Because that's something you don't do. And she's being a young publisher, she's making a lot of rookie mistakes. I kind of wonder about the proceeds of her children's charity. I wonder if the charity actually exists. I doubt it. So when I donate to charities, I donate the ones that exist. One of the few ones I like to donate to are Feed the Children, American Red Cross, Operation Blessing, NAMI, and a few others along the way. I like to give to the Boy Scouts of America because I used to be a Boy Scout. And that's part of the reason why I try to have a little honor in the book publishing business. I treat the writers with respect. Because a lot of the writers who worked with me, they've been with me for years. Casey Gordon, S.G. Cardin, they've been with me since the first book of Tailored Purposes. And issue 12 was the first time S.G. Cardin joined me on the magazine. Having her in the magazine with Monette Bebo Reinhardt, who almost made a hit for me in 2003. The story she did for her anthology was based off the story Bloodletting, one of my stories from 1999. I bought the story for the magazine in 2005, but ended up losing it because of a computer failure. That one was slated for issue 3. I'm going to have one of the issue 9 guys that were going to be part of the original issue 9 in issue 13. Because I promised I'll publish her story. I'm going to stay true to that promise. I'm also making good on a promise in 2010 to Jeffrey Scott Sims, who was part of issue 6 and issue 10. He sent me a story that was going to be for issue 10. I told him the story was too long, so I was going to consider it for issue 13. That story was sold, so he sent me another one. So Jeffrey, and if some of you out there who are part of the issues in the past, are welcome to join the fray. I'm also inviting some writers from fanfiction.net, fictionpress.com, so my friends from Authors Den are joining the fray. There's 2 novellas complete in the issue this time around. One of them was sent to me by a writer who sent me one novella I sort of got a little mad at because he used the N-word. It's because some of my contributors are African American, and him using the N-word in there was not cool. So he sent me another story. This one I sort of smiled about because it had to use the other F word. Something I'm guilty of using too, so if you're from that community, you might get pissed off at this issue because of the story, a gothic nomad in visiting Poe's home. What I am, some people might understand, is I'm a nomad. Meaning, I'm not shy about sleeping out if I have the right gear for it. Especially in cold weather. I'm not homeless. A nomad and someone who's homeless, you can tell them apart because of the equipment they carry. A nomad will have digital cameras, some cell phones, and other forms of technology. Debit cards or credit cards, depending on who you talk to. Some nomads actually jump the rails to travel with the people who traveled to Brit for hobo days. I'm going to talk to some people from Brit to write some of their stories up for this issue. I'm also inviting a friend from Iowa to contribute. Someone who helped me out when I was in the skids, when I was homeless. She gave me a place to crash for a night. Someone who really helped me out when I was down and out. As well as the guys from Neutral Red. They helped me out too back then. They were providing me food when I was at a place where I couldn't cook my meals. I couldn't even get a place something to eat. I couldn't even find a job back then. So, I don't take anything for granted when I'm a publisher. It's because I had nothing before. I came back down with clothes on my back. I've seen poverty. I'm not rich now, but I'm better off than I was. But the nice thing I like to do is sell a story that will pay for my security deposit when I'm looking for an apartment. Right now I'm just trying to get the ad out for roommates. My buddy Jason offered to be one of my housemates, but I told him, man, we've been friends for years. Almost 20 plus years, man. If you're in a house, you're a housemate, we'll end up hating each other, so I don't want that. Sean and I are still good friends now. Sean was my beta reader on the story I wrote, Stars of Armageddon. I did something cool with that one. I did a handwritten synopsis for that, and each version of the book is going to have a different synopsis handwritten. So, the synopsis is not going to be written twice. Those who are waiting for what the fuck are my copies at for that, I hope you're willing to wait for that, because it took some time to do that. It came out of frustration of writing the synopsis again for the back cover. It kept doing typos and it crashing on me. So I wrote it out on one of those paper journals and photographed it. I used a Sharpie 5 point for that. So it will look pretty damn fucking cool when I see the proof copy of this. I'm very excited for this reason. I gave it a real personal touch. Something I'm looking to do when I do issue 13's Editor's Lounge. There'll be a drawing of me in there. That'll be the background. A drawing that's based on my 2002 photo op when I did Sitting Alone at Edgewater Beach in October. If you go to my Blurry blog, nicholasblurry.com, you'll know the picture I'm talking about. I wish I had that one picture that Dark Shadow 79 did for me. Still. Because that would be a cool picture for the back cover. When she did that picture, she really did her homework. She studied some of my pictures over the years, and I'm always wearing a hooded sweatshirt. That's always been a trait of mine over the years. So with that being said, hope you enjoy issue 11. If you got the issue as a PDF, let me know what you think. I also want to thank the Commander-in-Chief for buying issue 9. I'm excited to hear what she has to say about the issue. Because that would be the first time someone got to see the roommate in that story. That story was probably one of my favorites over the years, but my overall favorite is The Pattern of Diagnosis as a non-fiction story. My favorite fiction story is the one that's coming out that Carter is publishing. That anthology is at the copy editor right now. So Carter, have a copy on me, bro. Thank you for giving a home to Media Darling. That story was a total bitch to place. I sent it for one anthology, they didn't even consider it. That one was a total swipe at Sherrod the Grippo. And to a DJ in Chicago who's a total asshole. The reason I say he's an asshole because he's a total dick to people who are learning disabled and mentally ill people. So would you support a DJ like that? I wouldn't. So some of you who are in the goth community in Chicago, don't hate me for calling him a prick. I say that with the sincerest honesty because he is a prick.